Okay, welcome back to the Tom Ferry Podcast Experience. If you are a new agent who is struggling, or just a new agent, or you are a veteran agent who's struggling, this show is just for you. I asked my friend, Genelle Geronsin, longtime personal client, legendary team leader, CEO of now a 10-person team with $157 million in closed volume year to date as we record this.
Yes.
That does not include her escrows and pennies, which she has a lot of. And what we want to do is let's go rapid fire. So first of all, Genelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You have hired new agents on your team and
Yes.
gotten them up to speed. You
Yes.
were once a new agent, now a 21-year veteran.
Yes.
You're that kind of person that, people, they see you in the office, they can come up and say, how do you do it? Right? So let's just have an open discussion, bantering back and forth on what does it take for an agent that is new or an agent that is struggling, lost their way to be successful in this environment. What's your first thought?
Well, I would first say I think the veteran agent that's struggling in this environment is going to be a little different than the new agent.
Of course. Yes.
And I state that because if you are a newer agent and your only experience in the market has been the last year or 2 years,
Right.
that has been in a highly abnormal market. I would
No doubt.
almost say a once in a generation market.
Yep.
And so you can't base on how you're going to run your business over the last year or two and what that was like.
Right.
If you are a veteran agent, what you found, what changed in the last year or two is the way of doing business.
Yes.
And, I kind of relate it to the dinosaurs. I think so many agents went by the wayside or went extinct over the last couple of years because they were forced to get so out of their comfort zone
Yes.
to deal with what that market looked like for the last year or two.
digitization of their entire
Yes.
business from beginning to end. Yes.
Yes. Like you had to, if you weren't doing video, good luck. You had to get into video.
Yep.
You had to be able to FaceTime show.
Yes.
You had to be able to very confidently and knowledgeably talk to your clients about the market and what was
Yes.
happening.
Yes.
So you had to pay attention. You had to do research.
Yes.
You had to have boots on the ground.
Yep.
You could not just stick a sign up in the yard and wait for somebody to call. I mean, you could because you could be lazy, right?
Okay, but
I think
Jen-
a lot of people did do that and got lazy.
Right. So I know that I'm a veteran. I've only been in an ascending market since 2010, but I just feel like the rug's been pulled out for me. Inflation's at 7, interest rates are at 7. Oh my goodness, let's go to Vegas. So there was just another 7. But no, the economy is in flux. We got political unrest at times. We got all this uncertainty. All I got to do is turn on the news. I know all that. What do I do to get back on track? What's my first 5 moves?
Your first 5 moves are you have to wake up and you have to do your first 5 moments of gratitude.
Ooh.
I want you to pick your 5 things that you are most grateful for every day because it sets your mind in the right position starting your day.
Love it.
Secondarily, I want you to go back and I want you to look at what the market did in 19 and 20. And then look at what the market did in 21 and 22 and pay very close attention on what is happening in 22 and educate yourself on what has happened within the last 4 years. A little tidbit here and there.
Tell me what I'm looking for.
What you're looking for is we are going to see some price, not reductions, but we're going to see some price reevaluations that I really believe in some markets is probably going to take us back towards those price points.
Right.
So especially with the rise of interest rates, right? You need to be able to equate it to something that you can show on paper and be able to explain.
Yes.
So look at it as if anyone drinks coffee, right? You get the cappuccino, it usually comes with a huge amount of foam on top that you burn your lip by the time it finally gets to your mouth. So what I would say is find out where the foam is in this marketplace right now and be able to very eloquently be able to explain to your client base and especially sellers why homes are sitting on the market longer, why we're seeing price reductions, and why homes are selling quickly. And I think you'll find that it's the foam gap.
Yes.
There are homes coming out on the market that are coming out much closer to to year 20 in pricing that are moving, and they're still moving quickly. And we're having homes come out at 22 prices that think that interest rates are still 3.5%, and they're sitting and they're taking price reductions.
Too much foam.
Too much foam. So that's why I say educate yourselves on the difference of what those prices have done.
You know, someone right now is going to write down no more foam pricing, and that's going to become their hook. Okay, I love that. So number one is moments of gratitude.
Yep.
Get your mindset right. Number two is a comprehensive analysis of the market between 19 and 20. And you can even go back 18, 19, and early, before the pandemic 20, and then look at hard 2021, 2022, 22, before it started to slow down and rates went up, and then after, right?
Yes.
So that analysis. What's number three?
Number three is go see inventory.
Get back out and preview
Get
property.
back out and preview property.
Love it.
The excuse of a home's going to be gone over the weekend, so there's no point in seeing it, is completely out the window anymore. If you want to get back in it, you want to be motivated, you want to have confidence, you need to know that inventory.
100%. What's number four?
Number four is find a partner and role play.
Ooh, you're telling me a veteran who's never had to role play a day in their life needs to start role playing?
Yes.
Like practicing?
Like practicing.
We talking Allen Iverson? Are we talking practice?
We're talking practice.
We're talking practice?
You know that old adage, practice makes perfect? Yes. Practice.
What should they be practicing?
You need to practice I don't know that I should buy right now because I'm afraid that market's going to crash or that prices are going to come down substantially. You need to practice that conversation of 7% interest rates versus if prices come down 50 grand and 7.5% interest rates. Or, hey, what if we have a boom and we get a refi back into the fives? Okay, only the better for you.
Right.
But you need to be able to have those conversations and be able to educate clients on the pros and the cons of sitting it out on the sidelines.
Yep. Love it. If you're renting versus buying, even at 7%, what is it? It's $1.29 per $1,000 on your, whatever your mortgage is. That's the amount.
Yep.
Right. So, all right, at 7%. Okay. So find a partner and start role playing.
Yes.
So far you're telling this veteran, they got to get back to work. They got to really know the market. You got to get back to previewing, knowing the market. You got to find a role play partner, start practicing your skills. What's number five?
Number five is learn your contracts.
So we're talking veterans right now.
Veterans. Yes.
Especially for some of the states that are coming up because contracts change.
Contracts
and this is when
change
it's about to change
all
again.
the time. And I will tell you, I will look you all in the eye and say this, and my team will tell you this too. I just went through a week of intense contract training myself.
Yes. 21 years.
21 years. And I did it because California contracts change all the time.
Yep.
And it's so important to be able to explain those terms and those conditions.
Yes.
And we are going back into a more normalized market.
Bingo.
You need to be able to explain all of those terms and conditions. Not all contingencies are getting written out anymore.
That's right.
You have to be able to walk through what is the purpose of a physical inspection. And you have to know your timelines and be able to talk to lenders and pre-qualify everybody. And if you cannot do that with a buyer.
At least a soft pre-qual.
Yes.
At least a soft pre-qual.
And if you can't do that with a buyer, that's going to be problematic because you're going to find yourself in a difficult transaction.
No doubt. Okay, so I love it. What's number six?
Number six.
I'm a veteran. What's number six?
Number six is find your one big win of the day.
I like it.
And it can be personal or it can be business. But I'm a big fan is you got to start your day with something to be really grateful for. And you got to end your day with feeling like you accomplished something good today.
Okay. I'm going to rattle off a couple more for the veteran.
Yes.
You start thinking about the new agent.
Okay.
As a veteran, you need to acknowledge the fact that 25% of the people that bought a house during the pandemic were dissatisfied with the entire experience. I would literally pull up a list of every buyer that bought a house in my marketplace during that time period and just look at that list and say 25% of those people hated the experience. More importantly, per Riz Media and some research they recently did, 80% of the people that bought a home felt that they compromised in that home purchase. Wasn't in the right school district. It was not enough bedrooms. All the bathrooms weren't big enough, that this wasn't been, blah, blah, blah. They compromised, which tells me if I'm a veteran agent, I'm going to go back to every person that bought a house from me and I'm going to say, hey, Jen, just following up, want to see how you're doing, what's going on. It's been a while. January 23rd, 2021, you guys wrote your fifth offer and you guys got your house at 1234 Banana Street. And I was thinking about you guys this morning and I just have one question. How's the whole thing working out for you?
See, you stole my thing for a new agent.
Right. But see, for a veteran, I think it's the most important question for them to ask every person. But then I'm also going to say to you as a veteran, it is to acknowledge that 35% versus 65%. The data shows that 35% of the transactions you're doing today, you met them 90 days or less. So they came into an open house, you had a connection and you converted them. But where I see most veterans struggling is they're not getting the 65%, which come from the long-term nurture and follow-up. The 1 year ago you met, 2 years ago, but you've been nurturing them forever. And then all of a sudden they buy a $3 million house from you or a $800,000 condo from you, whatever it may be. So ask yourself, am I doing the appropriate amount of follow-up? Because as a veteran, if they just went into their CRM, whatever one they're using, and just went into all their long-term follow-up campaigns, after you get over the emotion and the guilt of, I haven't reached out and texted and called and followed up on any of those people, you start. And you start with the simple question, Genelle, Tom Ferry, following up. Hey, how's the real estate search going? And are you guys still interested in finding your dream home in 2022, 2023?
Well,
and you engage.
And they can also a simple little text, or actually I prefer a video, but for some of you that are adverse to putting your face on camera, a simple text or a quick little video in the car. My favorite thing is just in the car, right? And say, oh my gosh, hey, Sam, I was just thinking about you. I was driving down your neighborhood. You guys came to mind. Just wanted to reach out and say hello. Hope you're doing awesome.
Yep. It makes people's day.
Right? Like short, sweet, to the point, puts you at the forefront in front of them.
Bingo.
Doesn't have anything to do about real estate, so they don't feel obligated to respond. But who doesn't respond to that? Right.
It's like I jokingly say, I do appreciate getting a handwritten note now and then, but I've sent a lot of handwritten notes and I still do to this day. But no one ever writes me a handwritten note back. They might send me a text, and most of my clients send me a video and go, really, Ferry? Did you just send me a handwritten note? And they go, thanks, I'm going to hang this on my bulletin board? Like, right? By the way, Tom, you spelled everything incorrectly.
If I could even read half of it.
Right. But again, text, video, modality today in a 2022, 2023 environment. Okay, I'm a brand new agent. I'm struggling. What are my first 5 moves?
Okay, first, I would say find successful agents within your company. Ask if they will be willing to mentor you.
Yes.
Okay, think of it as an unpaid internship.
I love it. Mentor me. Yes. What does that mean, mentor me?
Well, every agent is going to have something that they're great at, right? And so pick a couple of agents that are successful in your office and find that one thing that makes them great and follow them, listen to them, see how their teams operate. How do you make that kind of your own, right? Because you've got to have your own personality in it to be authentic.
Yes.
So, but you're going to see how some systems work that you think, oh my God, this is really great. Or you're going to see how some systems work and think, oh, I don't know about this.
Right.
And then you're going to see different personalities and how they handle negotiations. So
Can I just sit and listen, be a fly on the wall?
That's all. Just sit and listen. And then once you have the opportunity, hey, you know what? Would you mind? Can I go on? If you're going to be hosting an open house, can I just go and be present with you?
Right.
I'll
just put out your signs. I'll get
I'll
people
make
to
your
sign
flyers.
in. I'll do whatever it takes.
Right? It is a complete unpaid internship.
So smart. Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2 is, again, you have to know your inventory. Because first of all, you already are going uphill against agents that have been in the business for a really long time.
Right.
So you have to make sure you can go toe to toe with them with information. If you come out of the gate as a new agent and like, I don't know. Well, what about the house that sold 3 doors down?
Did you see that one? Why that one with the blue wall? And you're like, huh?
Or the one, the one over the hill that sold for $2 million? I saw that one. There was no home over the hill that sold for $2 million. And don't put it past people that they may not make stuff up to quiz you, by the way. So you really have to know your inventory. And again, as a new agent, I think part of really what comes out as a resounding trait is your confidence.
Yes. How do I get confidence?
People are going to judge you by your confidence.
Yes.
So you get confidence by knowing the inventory, knowing what's happening in the marketplace, knowing the contracts and being able to explain those appropriately. That will innately give you confidence.
I'm going to add one on this, especially with the mentor, because you said it. Would it shock you to hear the vast majority of unbelievable agents, like this one right here inside the room, would say to me, Tom, in the early days of my career, Alan Shaffron. You'll appreciate
Yes,
this.
yes.
Not a veteran, or excuse me, not a new agent,
was
but
gonna
when he moved from Los Angeles with his partner Stephen Christie to San Diego, his first high-end appointment, he called Maxine and Marty Gellens and said, would you guys go on this appointment with me? I really want to get it. We'll split it 50-50 and I'll do all the work. I think that's a big missing for a lot of new agents. So since you told them they need to go find a couple of veterans inside the office, it's hard to argue against, hey, if I procure a buyer who's interested, if I find someone that's thinking about selling, first of all, I believe fundamentally that the consumer deserves a better quality experience. Nothing against you as a brand new agent, right? I'm not knocking you, and you got to cut your teeth. It's hard to argue against bringing somebody else in who's done 30, 40, 80, 500, 1,000 transactions saying, will you walk me through this together? I'll do all the grunt work. We'll split the fee, et cetera, et cetera. I think that should be a requirement for people these days, especially with the complexity of contracts, negotiations, interest rate, everything else that's happening. But that's my other thought. What else?
Get your ego completely out of the way.
That sounded like a very similar version of what I was saying. You just said it simply. Yes. How do I get my ego out of the way? And what does that mean? I'm a brand new agent and I was told that I need to have confidence and bravado and like sell myself and be good at talking to people. What do you mean?
Well, I think that there's a way that you come across that you are either, I'm so fabulous, I know everything, you should absolutely pay attention to me, this is what you should do, versus, hey, I see that you're really struggling between these two homes. Would you mind if I shared my thoughts with you?
Yeah. Yep.
Share your thoughts.
Right.
Let them have a conversation back and forth and said, if I were you, these are the next couple of steps that I would take.
Right.
And if you are client-centric, if you truly want what is best for the client, that will shine through.
Yes.
And there are some people out there that are highly motivated by the fact that they want a client to have an exceptional experience because they know that that is where future business and referrals come from.
Bingo.
And then there are people that are just out there to get a paycheck.
Yep.
So I will tell you,
Commission breath.
do you want to have a career or do you want a job?
Yep.
And so as a new agent, I would counsel you to be very clear if you want a career or a job.
Yep.
And then set your mindset right if you are out to help the client or help yourself.
So it makes me think about the advantage of a new agent working with first-time buyers, right? And it was interesting. I was talking to a coaching client today who said some of the newer people on their team are struggling with the fact that some of the leads that are coming in are at this low price point. And many of the veteran agents don't want the low price point because they've moved beyond that. And I say, can I remind you, and this is to a client who I've worked with about the same time as you, not to be named, who basically said, oh yeah, I would sell somebody like a $175,000 house. And then 5 years later, they'd buy a $350 because they were about to have kids. And then they needed the house near the high school and they bought a $650 from me. And I can see this progression of every first-time buyer that I worked with over the course of his now, almost 25-year career of those continual move-ups and how lovely that was for him to reflect on and then be able to share that story with new agents, why you should embrace the FHA buyer, the VA buyer, the long-term game of being in this business. Thoughts?
Yes. So I make,
yes.
Guys, listen, I represent first-time home buyers every year.
Yes.
I do it for a totally different perspective though.
Yep.
I think after you've been in the business for so long, you get jaded by different experiences that happen. And that excitement from a first-time home buyer of getting their contract accepted and closing on a house, like it is unlike anything. And it completely rejuvenates you and just brings back this energy and this love and this desire.
Yes.
So please, as a new agent, I would tell you, you will love your life, especially now that we're in a more normalized market.
Right.
You will love your life working with first-time home buyers.
Yes.
Because it's a completely different experience than from someone that's telling you what to do. They want your help. They need your help. They want your guidance.
Okay, I'm going to give another idea. Boy, too bad that she didn't have any passion when she was presenting that idea. If you're only listening to this on audio, you need to race to my YouTube channel because she had a frown on her face the whole time as she was saying that. No. I would make the argument for you if you're a newer agent, right? And new is a relative term. If you're feeling like you're unsettled and you're not getting the kind of traction that you want, I'd go back to those really successful agents and say, hey, how many people do you have in your database that haven't been nurtured in a while? I heard this stat on a Tom Ferry podcast that said 65% of all the closings come from people that you met after 90 days, after 120 days, after 6 months, 8 months, a year. I would love the opportunity to call on your behalf any people inside your database that are cold, or even your besties that you just haven't reached to, with whatever script or influence you want me to use. And I'll do it on your behalf. And all I would ask is that you pay me a nominal referral fee, which whatever we can agree upon. Is it the standard 25%? Is it 10%? Is it 15%? Because the agent's going to be able to do this. They're going to learn how to sell somebody else, which eventually is easier to sell yourself. Yep. And I'm going to be now making really warm calls. Hey, I'm calling for Genelle Geronsin. She knows that you were looking at property 3.5 years ago. We just wanted to find out how you're doing and what's going on. Or, hey, you visited our website. You just assume like you're on the team. You visited our website during the pandemic. And I was just curious, like, how's the home search going for you? Have you given up on buying a house? Did you guys buy a house? We just want to see how you're doing. And would you like to, right? Those kind of conversations for a veteran agent who doesn't have a lot of time, and I'm looking at you as my personal client who doesn't call deeply into her database enough to have somebody doing that for you, I think would be tremendous. Now, the veteran watching right now is going to look at this, oh my God, what if they say the wrong thing? Well, since no one is calling your database except for competition right now,
you're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay. So I would add that. What else would you recommend from like if Timmy Smith was here, I already know he would say, 5 days a week of open houses. Just get in front of people, knock on doors, get as many opportunities as you can. What other marketing and lead generation would you recommend to the brand new agent who's struggling?
I would find something that they're very passionate about that is outside of real estate, some sort of charity group, volunteer opportunity.
How about I love, something doodles, right? You just name any one of the dogs that you love. You could join the dog community. Sorry, I'm looking right at, or cat community, or I adopt every possible pet on the planet community, AKA Courtney. So passion play. What are you passionate about?
Because listen, everybody wants to talk about real estate, right? So it's going to come up in conversation.
Bingo.
But it's a great place to have those conversations because you're doing it in an environment that you love to be in.
100%.
So you're automatically going to feel confident and comfortable in that setting.
Yep.
Not walking up to a door in your mind being like, oh my God, is this person going to shoot me? Are they going to yell at me? Are they going to pretend I'm not here? Like, how are they going to, what are they going to say to me? What are they going to do? Right?
Yes.
And yes, I would say do as many open houses as you possibly can. Because if nothing else, it just gives you the experience of getting face to face with people.
100%.
And here's the one thing all of us know in this business. We all wonder, you can have someone like me, it's 21 years in the business, okay? And you can have somebody that started 6 months ago, and someone will choose to list their house with you that you've only been in the business for 6 months over me that's 21 years, didn't even call me because they just felt a connection with you.
Bingo. Likability.
It is
just
100% likability. So do not dismiss that aspect of it.
Yes, 1,000%. Any closing thoughts? This was super awesome. I'm a new agent and I'm struggling. I'm a veteran agent that I'm struggling. Anything else?
I would just say keep positivity at the forefront.
Yeah.
You know, anytime anyone's struggling in anything in life, you have a choice to make every single day that you wake up. And you either choose that you get to focus on what's going to be great and work on it, or you can focus on why something isn't working. But it's the law of relativity. Whatever you focus on is exactly what is going to happen to you.
I'm going to remind you that if you Google the death clock and you answer 7 questions, Google will tell you when you're going to die. It's incredibly motivating. And sometimes I actually write the date on my arm as a reminder to, get my ass in gear. But what I heard you say was the great Carl Jung, right? Who said, how you feel on the inside radiates the people on your outside. So if you're in this funk, I'm glad you listened to this session today. Please send it to 7 people you know that are in a funk, also in a loving way. Don't say, hey, you're also in the shitter. Here we go. Watch this. Don't do that. Actually, it would be kind of funny if that's your personality. Some of you will do that. Up there. Yeah, like, this is for you. All kidding aside, notice we're having fun doing this. Not at you, with you. We got you. We've all been there. But I'd be very conscious of, what am I doing, as she said, to make sure I'm feeling good every single day? Because when you feel good, you perform good. When you perform good, you get good results. And it's a very positive spiral. But when you feel bad, you don't make phone calls. It's a very yucky spiral. So I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Thank you so much for watching, and you for just coming in randomly before a coaching session. I'm like, hey, let's do a podcast. So as always, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Make sure you follow Genelle Geronsin if you want all things Orange County, Southern California real estate. If you ping her on Instagram, she will answer your questions. Also, what's your Instagram handle?
The company is the Geronsons at Instagram, and then mine is just Genelle Geronsin Vandenboss.
Yes.
Genelle
Geronsin Vandenboss. I know I was going to say that wrong. Okay. But we've been working together since she was 4 years old. Okay. We're ending the show. Thank you so much. And hey, remember always your strategy matters. And now more than ever, your passion and doing the work. That's what rules. See you soon.
Bye.